Start recording right there. There we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mary Katie, welcome back to Mayor's Monday here at WSAU.com. As we speak, you are fresh off a tour of the drinking water treatment plants. And I'm told the governor was there as well. Was there a check for the drinking water treatment plant in hand?
I
At
keep
the
waiting
tour?
for that giant novelty check. But unfortunately for us so far, so the money has been allocated, right? The $125 million for PFAS remediation. But what we're waiting for is the trailer bill to tell us how do we access the money and spend it. So we're waiting on the legislature to determine those rules still. But I have high hopes that they will be getting to that at least in September.
Yeah, because the budget again has been signed. It's in law now. Everything's continuing as normal, or at least
Good.
as normal as it can be. But at this point, there's still a lot of unknowns as far as funding is going to go for this for the drinking water treatment plant and this $18 million toy that we're going to get installed here next year.
I don't know if I'd call it a toy, sir. But yeah, the GAC, the granular activated carbon system, right? We're gonna have it's 12 new tanks that the water will flow through, going through the media, taking all of the PFAS out of there down to non-detect levels, and we're really excited about that. But a few weeks ago, I signed that $17.5 million note. So it's a short-term note, so we got a pretty good interest rate on it, but we're looking for ways to make sure that we're paying for it outside of ratepayers. So folks will start noticing a change in their bills starting this month, the new rates. So
Mm.
yeah, we're looking for all kinds of different ways to pay for this so that we can kind of lessen the blow here.
Yeah, and on top of that, of course, the money that could be coming from the states. There's also the new settlements out there with 3M.
Yes.
Last time I had talked or I had asked you for comment, you said you weren't exactly sure just exactly where this
Yes.
is going to go, how much Wausau can get out of this. What
Yeah.
could be, if correct me if I'm wrong, up to $12 billion
Yeah. So there's a
for
lot.
cities.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this settlement, and it's for municipalities and counties that have signed on already, but also those who are affected that maybe didn't sign on. Now, the benefit that we get for signing on is that we'll see a double-digit percentage more, is what I'm understanding, than folks who maybe chose not to litigate. So we're still waiting to hear what this means. There's a lot of kind of machinations going on. And this isn't the only settlement that we'll probably see. We're involved in more than one lawsuit against the manufacturers of PFAS. And so this one has specifically to do with the foams. But we have some other things. I was told by our attorney that, we're a very well documented city, which is way to go us for documenting all kinds of
Right.
things. So that was good. But we're still kind of waiting. I'm hoping to get more information at some point here. But I wish I had something satisfying to say, like, this is another big check we'll get, but
Sure.
unfortunately, we had to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, and obviously then people want to know if we do end up getting, let's just throw a hypothetical number out there, say $15 million towards this granular activated carbon, which then would leave a $3 million gap. Would that change anything that has to do with the rate increase? But my understanding initially is that that wouldn't necessarily have an impact. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I think what would happen is if once we understand how much money we're getting, that is one of those opportunities to reevaluate the rate case, right? Like that's all we're doing every time we make the case to the Public Service Commission is we're saying, all right, this is how much money we have, this is how much money we get in from rates, and this is how much we've spent, and we need to make sure we're paying off. So it could have an impact on that, but it's again, it will be up to the council. It'll be up to the Utility Commission who's been allocated those duties by the council.
Sure. So obviously stay tuned, right?
Yeah, stay tuned. I think that's a discussion worth having though, just based on things I'm hearing from our council members, things I'm hearing from the public. I'm hearing a lot from folks. So sound off. Let me know what you think. I wish I had more details though.
Right. Right. Indeed. And as we like to say, sometimes these will move at the speed of government.
And you never know what that is going to be, do you?
Exactly. Exactly. One thing that we do know, though, is that the goats are back.
The goats are back.
That's all I'm gonna say. Again, I'm talking to Mayor Katie, the goat culture pundit, as her Twitter says. Tell us
Yes.
what this means. The goats are back.
Right. So I was expecting them to show up next week, but they must have finished their job early because they're so good at it and so thorough. I see they've got some new workers with them this year too. So they arrived on July 5th, and we expect them to be here for at least 3 weeks. So Parks Department got them all settled in, and they are out munching away. So if you're interested in watching their work, I'm told that the best time is morning and afternoon, kind of dawn and dusk is when they're most industrious. They were loafing a little bit around lunch when I stopped by to see them.
Mm. So you're stopping by as if these goats are your pets.
Well, I just like to see how they're doing. Make sure they don't need anything. Make
Yeah.
sure we did have an experience last year during that storm of the fence going down and goats kind of wandering around. So making
Mm.
sure that the fence is up and all of that.
And of course, for those of you who don't know, this is the goats. They come out of Portage County, correct? And
Yep.
you've basically deployed them every year now for the last 3 years
Yep.
at Barker's Stewart Island to kind of munch down the honey bucksuckle and the honeythorn. Or did
So
I?
close. So
Yeah,
close. Buckthorn and honeysuckle. But
buckthorn
you
and
know
honey.
what? If they had a mixture of them, we would want to get rid of it too.
Yeah, indeed. To kind of as a natural way to get rid of these invasive weeds from that
Yep.
area. So this is again year 3 of this project.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of have the goats deployed this year, and what's their
Yeah.
focus?
So they're in the same area. What we're doing now is we're cutting the island in half so that it's more condensed for them. So they'll work on this half for the first week and a half of their time, and then we'll open up to the other side. And then once they've done enough work that the public has lots of opportunity to interact with them, we will have Go to Palooza, and we're really excited about that too.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's not only a way to kind of naturally take care of these without going through with herbicide and things like that,
Yes.
which you don't want to do in that area so close to the Wisconsin River. But it's
Right.
also as you've mentioned in the past, it's been an educational opportunity for residents as well.
Yeah, it's really great. I was out there and some kids were telling me what the goats were doing, and I let them explain it to me because it was really exciting. And we're raising the environmental literacy one goat at a time.
Mhm. And so this again, year 3 of this. What are the plans for the goats going forward? Are you going to make this maybe a 5-6 year project?
Yeah, there's an amount of repetition we need to do on Barker Stewart, especially to forever be done with these invasive species. And there's probably some maintenance we'll have to do after we get the majority of it gone. But the interesting thing about the goats is that when they digest the invasive species, the seeds and the berries, they actually render the majority of them incapable of planting and rooting and growing more. So that's really great too, that they're taking care of the seeds and the berries and keeping it from regrowing anyway. So yeah, I would expect the next couple of years, we've been talking about some other parks that would be prime candidates for goats, especially those places where kind of interesting terrain, maybe Sylvan Hill would be a spot. There's some opportunity there too. And I think I heard that there are other municipalities surrounding us that are looking into hiring goats as well. So we are
Yeah.
trendsetters apparently.
Yeah, I know this is something that has been done in the Madison area in the past as well, and down in Milwaukee. But yeah, it's certainly something that's definitely caught on here, and not only become a talking point, but something that where people are looking at this and saying this is viable.
Yeah.
This is something that we can do for now and for the foreseeable future.
It's huge. I would love it if the state just hired goats to take care of the stuff along the highway too, because there's a lot of maintenance that we can do. If we had roving goat herds, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
We're just gonna go back to the basics, I guess.
yeah, it's low tech, but hey, it works. So,
Yeah.
and we've proven that over the last couple of years. Before we let you go, obviously a couple big changes coming to public safety in
Oh
Wausau.
yeah.
You've got within uh basically the same day you found out that police chief Ben Bliven and fire chief Bob Bartek both submitted their resignations. this is obviously going to be something that the city will have to handle in a very short period of time, over 6 months.
Yeah. So Chief Bartek is our fire chief, and he is ready to retire. And I can't blame him. He's had a really wonderful 33-year career. And, he's ready to be a grandpa. He's ready to spend time with his family. For so many, for the last 3 decades, he's spent time just running out to rescue others' families. And now he's excited to spend some time with his, and he's earned it. So we're excited for him. We'll have him until December. So we'll be working on recruiting. And, when we talk about recruiting, it's the Police and Fire Commission that takes the lead on this. It's a statutory obligation for them to kind of, in theory, keep the politics out of these decisions. And then, of course, Chief Bliven, who has been working for the city since I think 2000, incredible leader, a wonderful chief. He's ready to try new things. So he's going to work for a new organization, and he's really excited, and they're excited. We're devastated. But the one thing that I've seen over and over again at our police department is that they have had leadership development just embedded in what they do. So there are plenty of folks who are ready to take on that challenge. And I know that we have some great homegrown talent, but we'll do a national search for both of these chiefs because we know that whoever we hire, we deserve to know that we've selected the right person overall. So, we've got great people internally for both departments actually, but yeah, police and fire will lead the charge, and I'll be right there with them to help.
Right. And then I know they met in closed session about this a couple of weeks ago. Is there any sense yet as to how they're going to proceed forward with naming possibly an interim,
Yep.
and then where the searches will start, and when they might be done by?
Yep. So we're starting the search by starting right here. We're holding listening sessions with staff, and we found it really meaningful the last time we hired a fire chief to just hear directly from folks. What are they looking for? What do they need from us? What do they hope we consider? So we're doing that for both police and fire. We're excited to hear from folks. And then, we'll have a national posting for both. And then we'll do the interviews, probably multiple rounds. We'll include folks from Police and Fire Commission, folks here who are experts in hiring, and also just people who are good at understanding the culture that we have here. So working on that, we did name, if it gets to that, we're hoping that we can find the right folks by September for at least the police. But if we don't find our chief yet, we have named Deputy Chief Matt Barnes as our interim. And then we'll decide what we need to do if we don't have a chief ready by December, which I very much hope we are ready with our chief by the time Chief Bartek retires.
Okay. So those are decisions again that are going to be forthcoming. And is there, any sense that the Police and Fire Commission could try to do say like public open house type interview situations for both, uh or is that going to be a little ways down the road yet?
Yeah, we'll have to talk to them about what their anticipated rollout is. But the Police and Fire Commission president has been really great about working with our team. So we'll have a plan of attack shortly here. And also having recently gone through the process for fire, it's a good we have a good process worked out between the two bodies here.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And I imagine, especially on the fire side, the job is going to be very attractive, especially because of all the changes that you recently made with the department, the hiring,
Yeah.
and in getting some new equipment and even a new facility online too, right?
Oh yeah, we have definitely invested in public safety here in Wausau, and I think that's a good selling point. I know there's more to do, but having 12 new firefighters onboarded, in the hiring bonanza, the first we've had since, I don't know, the 1970s, I think we are in a really competitive state. But again, like we have great leadership in the department right now. So I think we're going to have some really good opportunities to really get the right person in that position. And, we might find that we have some great leadership already.
hmm Well, we look forward to seeing where all this goes over the next 6 months. Of course, we'll be right there to bother you for comments and things
Oh,
like that as appropriate.
bother me. It's wonderful. I really appreciate this time that you get to pepper me with these questions and I get to talk.
Indeed. We always appreciate the time on our end as well. And again, we'll look forward to chatting next month.
Thank you so much.